welcome to the Guru Gedara educational program. Today here with another maths lesson for grade 8 students. I hope you are ready with booklets. Okay, get ready with, if you are not ready with the things, collect everything you need to do the lesson with me. Okay, we are going to do the lesson 24. What is it? Can you see the lesson topic? Yes, that is probability. I know that you have learned these things in grade 6 and 7. The basic concepts we practice in grade 6 and 7. We'll see what we're going to learn during this lesson. Okay, at the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify what is the fraction of success of an outcome of a random experiment. Next, you're going to identify what is the experimental probability of an event and identify what is the theoretical probability of an event is. Okay, don't worry about the new terms here. Okay, we're going to discuss everything with experience, giving experience to you how to identify these things one by one. So, we'll see just what are the keywords you find in this lesson. Here, these are the keywords. What are they? The first thing is experimental probability. Secondly, theoretical probability. And perhaps you may have experience about the outcome, event and random too. But don't worry, we're going to learn everything one by one. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. And first of all, we'll try to identify what is an event. Okay, look at the first statement here. A stone which is lifted and released, falling downwards. Have you experienced this earlier? Yes, I can see you are saying yes, yes. Sometimes you're playing with stones. Okay, here, it's true, it's happened. Okay, we'll see another event. What is this? Sun rising from west. Sun rising from west. Does it happen? Is it an event? Yes, it is an event, but it never happens or never occur or never exist. Okay, we'll see another event. Rain occurring this afternoon. Rain occurring this afternoon. Will it be rain in this afternoon? Are you be sure about that? Will it or not? Yes, that event we can't say until it happens whether it happens or not. We have to wait till this afternoon to check that. Okay, we'll see another event. Appearance of the moon on new moon day. Appearance of the moon on new moon day. What do you know about moon? What is the new moon? Yes, the first day of the new moon. Perhaps you may see the moon, but what happened if it was cloudy? Yes, perhaps you may not see the moon. Yes, until it happens, we don't know what is going to be. We'll see another event. What is this? A train leaving at the scheduled time. No, never? Yes, your experience may be never, but sometimes, yes, we'll leave at scheduled time. Perhaps may not. That is also an event. We can't decide until it's done. Okay, the last one. Tossed coin landing head up. Okay, what are the outcomes when you toss a coin? Yes, maybe you get head, maybe you get tail. So, the expected event is getting head. Until you do that, you don't know what is going to be. Okay, we have to learn about events furthermore. We'll see. According to the experience, we can give a scale to deciding the likelihood of happening of a certain event. Okay, some events definitely do not occur. Some events are definitely do not occur. So, we can give the scale, the marks or the value as 0. The events which do not occur, we give the scale marks as 0. So, what happened if the event is definitely occur, definitely happen? Yes, we can give mark as 1. So, the events can be categorized or give range of marks 0 to 1. If it is definitely happen, you give 1 mark. If it is definitely not occur, you give 0 mark. So, what about if it is equally likely, the happening and not happening is same, equally likely to be happen or not occur. Okay, what is the suitable marks? Guess. It's exactly at the middle. Yes, you are correct. I can see you say. Yes, it is half. You can give half marks to that event. Yes. We'll see what happened to the range in between 1 and half and 1. First of all, if the event is more likely to happen, much possible to happen, the range between half and 1 could be given. We can't say definitely happen, but it's more likely to happen. So, we can give the range between half and 1. So, what will be happen if it is unlikely to happen? Okay, possibility of happening is less. Most probably it may not occur, but you can't say it definitely do not occur, but it's very likely occur. So, unlikely happening events, we can give the marks to within the range 0 and half. The range 0 and half. So, likewise, we can give marks or a numerical value for certain event according to the possibility of happening, that the occurrence, likelihood. Yes, if it is definitely do not occur, it is 0 marks will be given. If it is definitely occur, it will be marks, yes, 1. If possibility of happening and not happening is same, if it is the event is equally likely, you can give half marks. So, the event more likely to happen, yes, you can give the marks between the range half and 1. So, the possibility of occurrence is less, so you can get the range between 0 and half. Is it clear to you now? Okay, these things we learn grade 6 and 7. We identify the events and we identify their likelihood, whether it is definitely happens or not, if it is more likely to happen or less likely to happen, or if it is equally likely, then according to those conditions of those events, we can give marks like this. Okay, shall we practice this bit more? Yes, before that I want to mention the events which are definitely do not occur and the events which definitely occur, we can keep aside the rest of the events. We don't know exactly what is going to be, will it happen or not. So, all the events we can commonly call it as random events. Okay, shall we practice this scaling of an event furthermore? Okay, we are going to rate these events as 0, half and 1. What is the first one here? Okay, Read it with me. A fruit dropping from a tree, landing on the ground. Can you scale it? What are the scales or the marks you can give for that? 0, half, 1. Yes. According to you, what will be your marks? Yes, I can see you saying. That is number 1. You write the number 1 there, or you will give mark 1 to that event. Good. We'll try another one. Yes. Read this. The sun rising from the east. The sun rising from the east. Is it happens? Definitely occur or not? Yes, it is definitely occur. Sun rising from the east direction. So what is the mark you're going to give? The mark, yes, that is 1. You can rate it as 1. Good. For the events which are definitely happen, we give 1 mark. We rate it as 1. Good. We'll see another one. Yes. Can you read it now? Yes. If today is Monday, tomorrow will be Wednesday. Yes, is it? What is the day after Monday? Is it Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? No, I know. I can hear you saying that is Tuesday. So, will this happen ever? No. So, how you rate this? Yes, that is, you rate with 0. Yes. It's an event which is do not ever happens. Yes. Next one. Read it. Yes. Winning the toss in a match. You experience this a lot. You toss and winning it. Yes. When you toss the coin, what are the outcomes? You will get head or tail. Yes. You ask for getting head or tail. Yes. You ask for tail. So what is the rate, or what is the chance you getting your winning tail? Yes. What is the chance? Is it equally likely? Yes. You may, sometimes when you toss the coin, you may get tail. Sometimes you will get head. So, this is an equally likely event. So, how do you rate it? Yes, you have to rate it with half. Good. Shall we try another few events? Okay, we'll move fast. Okay, this is the 5th one. Yes. Here we are going to talk about a cubical die. Yes. Fair die. Fair die means unbiased object. What is this unbiased? Here fair die is you experience with playing with dice. Yes, various kind of, but most probably you play with the cubical die. So what are the things you know about the cubes? Yes, all the faces are same, equal. Faces are square in shape. Yes. How many sides? How many sides for the cube? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So they are same. The possibility of getting one side out of 6 or is same. Every sides are same. So it is an unbiased object. You learn these words in grade 7. Unbiased objects. Oh, yes. So here we are going to use the unbiased object or fair die. So all the faces are same. So all faces are marked with, yes, 1, 1, 1. Then another 2, 3 faces also marked with 2, 2, 2. So there will be 3 1s and 3 2s. So all 6 faces now numbered with 1 and 2 only. So what is the expected event here? Yes, getting number 1. Yes, out of these 6 outcomes, you have number 1 3 times. So getting number 1 no, number 1 2, it is equally likely. Same. So what is the rate you're going to give here? Yes, it is equally likely event. That is half. Good. We'll go to the last one here. We'll see the last one. Yes, can you read it with me? Yes. Yeah. A bead drawn from a bag containing 10 red beads and 2 blue beads of equal size and shape. Being a red bead. What is the expected outcomes? Yes, being a red bead. What are the beads inside the bag? What are the colors? Yes, they are red and blue. 2 colors only. How many beads are there altogether? There will be 10 red beads and 2 blue beads. Altogether 12. But expected outcome is getting a red bead. So, how many red beads again? 10. How many blue beads? 2. Getting red bead is more likely. Happening red or getting or selecting a red bead is more possible than selecting a blue one. So, how do you rate this event? How do you going to rate this event? Is it equally likely? No. It is definitely occur? No. If it is definitely occur, there could be only red beads. If it do not occur event, no, there are some, yes, red beads too. So, where is the range? So, we have to rate this with the range. More likely to happen getting a red bead. So, how do you rate this? Yes, it's more likely the rate will be between half and 1. More than half, not exactly 1 because we have some blue beads too. So, it should be in the range between half and 1. Good. So, now you have a clear idea about event and how to rate it according to the likelihood of happening that. Good. Those are the things we practice in grade 6 and 7. Okay. There is another thing we have to revise, random events. Okay. We are going to revise this thing in grade 8 too, and we already learned this in grade 7, but we'll see what is a random event. So, can you read the statement there? Yes, when numbers or objects are chosen freely without any rule or any obvious bias, it is said to be random. What are the conditions here? We selecting numbers or objects freely without any rule or any obvious bias. Yes, they called as random. Is it clear? We'll try to explain this with some examples. Okay, here we go. Random events. I think everybody aware about the lotteries. I think you may have tried one of these at least once. Perhaps your parents may buy some lottery tickets and they check in the numbers. At the night they telecast the winning numbers. Then you check and compare your numbers with your ticket and you check whether you have won something or getting a prize. Okay, we'll see that. Yes, read the statement with me please. Yes, the National Lottery, the numbers which comes up in a given week depend on the chance drop of a numbered ball. It's like this. Yes, can you see the small animation there? Yes, numbered ball are put into a certain machine and one number is popping up and those are selected as the winning numbers. So, do we have a special role there to selecting those numbers? No, no bias. Do we do something just checking the numbers and taking them out? No, we can't do like that. So, this selection, this sort of selections are called as randomly selected numbers. Okay. We'll see another example for random events better to understand this. Okay. Here. What can you see? This is an animation. Yes. In that hat there are some piece of papers. your names were written in the papers, and we put that papers into the hat, and we, without checking the names, we just put our hands and take out a paper and check the names. No rule. They done it freely. So this is also a random event. It is a random event. So I hope you are clear with this random event concept. So what is it? You selecting or choosing number or some objects freely. You select them freely without any rules or obvious bias. Okay, those are called as random events. Okay, now we have come to the important part of this lesson. Okay, look over here. We'll see some random events furthermore. Okay, look at this event. Yes, the person who get down at the next bus stop to be a woman. Will it be a woman exactly? No. We don't know who is getting onto the bus and the next person who is getting down. It could be a woman or a man. Until it happens, we do not know. We'll see another event. Yes. You experience this a lot. The batsman run out in the next ball of a cricket match. Yes, you have to wait for the next ball and you have to check whether he is going to run out or not. We can't decide until it happens. Clear? Yes. So this also ran random event. Okay. The same example again we have discussed. It will rain this evening. As I mentioned earlier, you have to wait and see whether it happens. You have to check it. Yes, we don't know what's going to be in this afternoon. I don't know, you don't know, will it be rain or not. Clear? So, we can summarize this as, yes, such events are called random because it is not possible to say certainly whether these events occur or not. Until it happens, we don't know whether it happens or not. Are you okay with these random events now? Yes. Okay, we'll learn more about the probability. Okay, what is this? What can you see here? Can you see the slide? Yes. What is it? Probability is possibility of an event. We can simply say probability as possibility of an certain event. We'll see or we'll learn about probability furthermore. This is the most important part in grade 8 which you have to learn. But it's easy, don't worry. Okay, we'll see here. Yes, the probability is a number from 0 to 1 that tells you how likely something is to be happen. That's what we already done. Yes, we practice that. We check some events and we rate it from 0 to 1. Yes, the likelihood of certain thing happening consider as the probability. Simply we can say it that way. But we'll say, is it same as that? Yes. There are two approaches for probability. We're going to learn them. The first one is theoretical probability. Don't worry about these terms. I'm going to explain you what are these. Theoretical probability. The next one is experimental probability. So the first thing is theoretical probability. Okay, here, can you read it with me? Theoretical measurement can be found without experiment. Is it clear? Without experiment. It means we are going to find the theoretical probability according to things we already know. We are not going to do an experiment or do the things and find out. According to our knowledge or the previous thing that we know, we are going to find the probability. That is the theoretical probability. We will see an example here. Yes, this is the example. It's a very easy one, easy to understand. Tossing a coin. Tossing a coin. So, since there are only two outcomes, what are they? Head and tail. When you toss a coin, the outcomes will be only head and tail. Okay. The likelihood or chance of getting head or tail 50 to 50. Same. So, we decide the likelihood or the possibility of happening getting head or tail according to things we know. What are things we know? When you toss a coin, you have two outcomes. Either you may get head or tail. We didn't do the experiment. We get the final conclusion according to things we know. That is the theoretical probability. Okay. Experimental probability. It's a bit different from the theoretical probability. Yes. Here, experimental probability is found by representing an experiment and observing the outcomes. Here we don't decide it early according to our knowledge. We do the real experiment and we find out or we observe the outcomes according to our experiment. Then we decide the probability. Okay, we'll get the same example, tossing a coin. Here this time we are going to do the trial. We are going to toss the coin and check the outcomes. Okay, according to this example, we toss the coin 10 times. We try it 10 times. Out of that 10 times, only head gets 3 times only. Head turns up only 3 times. So, the probability, experimental probability of tossing the coin 10 times is 3 over 10. Is it clear? It's different from the theoretical probability. In the theoretical probability, we didn't do the experiment, we didn't toss the coin. Without tossing the coin, we decided according to our knowledge. We already know there are only two outcomes, getting head or tail. The chance of getting head and tail is 50% or 50 to 50. Okay, here we actually do the experiment how many times. We toss the coin 10 times and we check how many times we get head, 3 times. Out of the trials, the expected outcomes, yes, expected outcome was 3 times. We try it 10 times. So, the experimental probability of getting head according to this example is 3 over 10. So, what will be the getting tail then? So, 3 times we got head, the 7 times we got tail. So, the experimental probability according to this example, getting the tail 7 over 10. So, is it clear now the difference between theoretical probability and experimental probability? Okay, yes. We'll go on with few more examples. We have to learn this properly because we are not going to learn this again. In our syllabus, in grade 9, you will learn some new things. Grade 10, some new things more than that. We are not going to repeat this again. So, we have to learn this in grade 8. So, make sure you learn all the necessary things or the new things in grade 8 before you go to the grade 9. Good. We'll practice these two furthermore. Okay, I'm going to do to explain you, to discuss with you about these two concepts. What is it? Yes, theoretical probability. Yes, and experimental probability. Good. Yes, you know the terms. Now we try to understand this furthermore with some real experience. Okay. Here, as the first one, I am going to roll a cubical die. Earlier we discussed about the cubical die. It's an unbiased object. It's a fair die. All six sideds are happening, or the getting up or turning up is same, equal. Okay, this is not the die as you playing for Sinhala New Year. Yes, you change the sides and you make some side to fall. Yes, if you playing with 2-5 game, yes, you bid some coins or money. Yes, then you change the cubical die. Yes, to get number 5, then you will win. Yes. Okay, this is not like that. This is a fair die. Okay, all the faces are same. All the events are equally likely happen. Okay, this is my die. Yes. If you roll it, so what will be the outcomes? What are the possible outcomes? If you roll this regular six-sided, yes, die once, yes, what are the chances? Or what are the outcomes you get? What are the numbers? You may get number 1, or you may get number 2. Yes, it may be 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 6. Okay, these are the possible outcomes when you roll a cubical die marked from 1 to 6. This is die we are going to use for identify the theoretical probability and experimental probability, both concepts. Okay, we'll go here. First of all, we are going to do the rolling a cubical die to understand the theoretical probability. Okay, we'll see. We got number 1. Yes, the probability of getting number 1. There are how many outcomes? Yes, the expected event is getting number 1. Total number of outcomes was 6. So, there will be only number 1 in the cubical die. There are 6 faces. They name from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of those 6, the expected outcome is you get only once. Okay. So, the probability will be, yes, 1 over 6. The probability of theoretical probability. Did we do the experiment? No. We just decide the probability according to the things we knew already. Is it clear? Yes. We'll see another one. Okay, here we go. Yes. What are these? Another example for theoretical probability. Number 1, number 3, number 5. Who are they? 1, 3, 5 in our cubical die. Yes, can you name them with a special type of numbers? Ah, yes, they are odd numbers. Okay, here we are going to check the theoretical probability of getting an odd number. Yes, the expected outcomes is, what is it? Getting an odd number. How many times you will get odd numbers in the cubical die? Yes. Yes, 3 times. They number 1, 3 and 5. So, out of 6 outcomes, 3 outcomes will be our expected outcomes, that is getting an odd number. Yes. Shall we write the probability? Yes, 3 outcomes out of 6. Is this your final answer? Is it? Yes, it is correct. Yes. Out of 6, 3 numbers are odd numbers. So, we wrote the probability as 3 over 6. You going to keep this as the final answer? If you keep this as the final answer, most probably you will lose marks for your exams. Why is that? If your final answer is a fraction, wherever, make sure to keep that in simplest form. So, you check the numerator and denominator. Do they have common factors? Yes. What is it? Just the factor 3. So you can divide both numerator and denominator by 3. Then what is the final answer? Yes, when you divide 3 by 3, 1. When you divide 6 by 3, that is 2. So the probability of getting an odd number when you rolling a die, it is 1 over 2 or half. Got it? Okay, make sure to keep the final answer in simplest form. Right. We'll see now. Now we are going to do the real experiment and we try to identify the experimental probability of getting odd number and an even number. Yes, we'll do the experiment. Experimental probability, we're going to toss the die. Oh, what is the number you got? Number 3. Is it odd or even? Is it odd or even? Yes, that is odd number. So how you collect this data? Yes, you can mark a, use tally marks to collect this data. Again, I want to revise the things about tally marks. What are these tally marks? Yes, we use small strokes like this to collect some data. Yes, we have learned this in grade 4, 5 also, as I could remember. In grade 6 also you learn these things. Using tally marks, you can collect this data. Yes, you can use these small strokes as counters. Yes, if you get 1, you mark with a 1 stroke. Yes, you can practice with me. If you can't remember these things, about the things about tally marks, you can practice with me here in this experiment. We'll see again. We're going to roll the die again. We're going to check the outcome. Yes. Can you guess what it be? Is it number 2? 5? We'll see what is happening next. Oh, you are correct. It is number 5. So, where are we going to mark the tally mark? Yes, at the, next to odd numbers. You draw a small stroke like this. Mark the tally. Good. Again, we are going to do the experiment. Okay, here we go. Roll the die. What it will be? Oh, it is number 2. Where are you going to mark it? Yes, it is a even number, so you should mark the tally mark at even number row. Okay, here we go again. We're going to roll the die. Find the outcome. Oh, again it's number 3. It's more likely to get odd numbers, I think. Yes, so you have to mark the tally marks at odd number row. Good. Again, we're going to roll the die. Check the outcome. You got this time number 6. Okay. It's a odd or even? It is an even number. So mark the tally. Good. Here we go again. We're going to roll the die. Yes. Oh, it is number 5. I told you earlier it's more likely to get odd numbers this time. So you mark the tally mark. Now tell me how many strokes at the tally mark relevant to odd numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, there are 4 already marked. We'll check the next one. Shall we roll the die again? Oh, again you got number 5. So how could you mark the tally to represent this odd number? You already marked 5 tally marks. Then what you do? Yes. Can you remember? Yes, you use a line to cut the previous 4 lines to make a lot of 5. Yes, it is 5. Good. Shall we go on? Okay. Oh, this time you got number 2. So it is an even number. Mark it at even. Yes. Here we go again. Number 1. Yes. Here we go. Yes, it is a odd number. The final one. It is number 3. That's also an odd number. Okay. Shall we get the count? Odd numbers? Yes, we got odd numbers 7 times. We got even numbers 3 times. Altogether, we did how many times this experiment? 10 times. We did it 10 times. So, we are going to explain the experimental probability using this result. We did the experiment. Based on the result or the observations, we are going to find the experimental probability. Okay. Here, not like in theoretical probability, we use a special term. We did something and achieve something. So, we talk about that result. So, we call this probability as a fraction of success. Fraction of success getting an odd number. How many times you got odd numbers? 7 times. How many times we did the experiment? 10 times. Okay. The number of outcomes of odd number, that is, yes, upon total number of experiments. So, it will be 7 over 10. 7 over 10. What is the new term here? Fraction of success. So, the experimental probability was done through an experiment, get the result, and we call that as a fraction of success. Okay. So, what about the even number? Here, fraction of success, even number, getting an even number, we can write it as, we got 3 times only, we did the experiment 10 times. So, that is 3 over 10. Good. So, now you have a clear idea about the experimental probability and theoretical probability. I am looking forward to do another experiment or get another example to explain these two concepts. We'll move fast. Yes. Can you see? Oh, there is a pot. Can you see some marbles there? Yes. How many red marbles? 3. How many yellow marbles? 5. So, I am going to put them into the pot. Yes. Okay. Inside the pot, you have 3 red marbles and 5 yellow marbles. So, we know the concepts or the things. 3 red, 5 yellow. Theoretical probability, yes, getting red. Probability of getting red marble, yes. Out of the marbles, you write the number of red marbles. Then you get the theoretical probability of getting a red marble. How many red marbles were there? 3. Totally it was 8. So, the theoretical probability of getting a red marble is 3 over 8. It is 3 over 8. Okay. Then we do the same thing to find out the probability of yellow marbles. Okay. How many yellow marbles were there? 5. How many red marbles were there? 3. All together 8 marbles. So, the probability of theoretical probability of getting yellow marble is, yes, 5 was yellow, totally it was 8. So, it is 5 over 8. That is 5 over 8. The theoretical probability of getting yellow marbles, 5 over 8. Got it? Yes. Did we do the real experiment there? No. We knew there were 3 red marbles, 5 yellow marbles. Then our expected outcomes was getting a yellow marble. Yes. It was 5. Totally it was 8. So, it is 5 over 8. Okay. Shall we do the same thing to identify the experimental probability. We going to do the really taking out marbles from this pot and check the color, and we going to mark it or collect the data, gather the data, and we going to do the real experiment here. We'll see one by one. Just took out a marble. What's the color? It is yellow. Mark the tally. Go to the next one. Again, we are going to put the marble to the pot again. Now already again there are 3 red and 5 yellow. From that again we select, randomly selected. Do we looking at the marbles and check? No, they are equal in size and shape. Do we check the color? No, unless we take it out we don't check the color. Okay, put the hand into the pot. Take the next one. What is it? That's a red one. Then you mark the tally. Then again we put it back to the pot. Shall we do it again? Yes. This time also it is a red one. The marble color is red. So you mark the tally. Then put it back to the pot. Shall we try it again? This time it is a yellow one. So where are you going to mark the tally mark? Yes, at the yellow row. Yes, that is yellow. Put it back. Get another one. Oh, it's also a yellow color one. Shall we mark it? Yes. Put it back. Now how many marbles inside the pot? 5 yellow, 3 red. All 8. Good. Take another one. Yellow. Mark the tally. How many yellow color ones now? 4. Again put it back. Take another one. Oh, it's also a yellow one. Now how are you going to mark the tally? Same as the earlier one. Now we have already 4 tally marks at yellow row. How do you going to mark the 5th one? Yes, you can cross the previous 4 to make a lot of 5. Good. Then again we going to put the marble back again. Yes, shall we draw another one? Yes. Oh dear, it's also a yellow color one. Yes. Why it's happening here? Yes. How many yellow marbles inside that? 5. How many red ones? 3. Yes. Getting a yellow marble is more likely to happen because there are more yellow color ones. It's more likely to happen to get a yellow color one. So that's why this is happening here. So you have to mark the tally there in yellow row. Good. So we put it back. Shall we check our final result then? How many red marbles we got out of this 8 times? 2 times. How many yellow color ones? 6. Altogether we did how many times this experiment? 8 times. This is our final result. We did the real experiment. This is our result. We got 2 red marbles, 6 yellow marbles. Yes. Using this result or this observation, we can write the experimental probability, or you call it as fraction of success. We succeed this result, that we call it is as success, fraction of success. Okay, we'll see. Okay, this was the experiment. This is our result. Yes, the fraction of success of getting red marble. So the total number of times we got red marbles was, yes, okay. How many times we did the experiment? Yes. Then can you write the experimental probability here, fraction of success? Write it please. Okay, good. What is it? 2 times you got red marbles. You did how many times? 8 times. Good, well done. So, what is the fraction of success? 2 over 8. Is it the final answer? Is it? Check again. Could it be the final answer? Can you leave it as the final answer? No, you see the factors there. Yes, for the numerator and denominator. Simplify it quickly. Yes, both are divisible by 2. Numerator and denominator divisible by 2. Divide it. Yes, when you divide 2 by 2, 1, 4 by 2, sorry, 8 by 2, 4. Yes, the final answer is 1 over 4. Yes, always make sure to simplify your fraction. Good. Yes, again. Fraction of success of getting yellow marble. Yes. Total number of times we got yellow marbles. Yes, I can hear you saying, yes, correct. Then, how many times we did the experiment? Oh, yes. Write the success fraction or fraction of success quickly. Okay. Yes, you got 6 times yellow marbles. Yes, totally we did 8 times. Here we go again. You have to simplify the fraction. Yes, 6, 8. Yes, the common factor is 2. Simplify it with factor 2. Divide 6 by 2, 3. Divide 8 by 2, 4. That is 3 over 8. Good. I know that you have a clear idea about this experimental probability and theoretical probability. So, simply you can say the theoretical probability as yes. Without doing this real situation or doing the experiment, based on the things we know, we decide the probability. That is called as theoretical probability. Yes. Experimental probability means always you do the experiment, you try it and observe the outcomes. Based on the outcomes, you decide the probability. And we use a special term to that, fraction of success. How many times you success to the related or the expected outcomes. So, it is called as fraction of success. Okay, these are the things we learned during this lesson. I hope you enjoy with me practicing these things with this small animation, but you can try it at home doing these kind of things. You can play, especially you can play with cards also, and you can find the chance, getting the winning chance, the possibility like this with your friends or with your family members. Yes. And make sure to do the exercises related to this lesson. To practice these things, there are small questions and very easy things to be done in your exercises. As I could remember, there are 3 exercises. Less questions are there. Please try them and practice it more and make sure you learn new concept properly. Okay. Until we meet the next time, I want you to revise these things over and over. You can watch these videos again, YouTube channel NIE, and you can revise or recall it over and over and practice it more. I hope you are enjoying with me again, and thank you very much for participating with me to this lesson, and I hope you're safe at home. Until we meet next time, goodbye everybody.